Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Dude, is it finally time? Is Etheria restart end of servicing? Are they on that track? Is it finally time? And what's the biggest problem that I think I can pinpoint for this game? And also, another small tangent, maybe there's some chicanery about when it comes to what Etheria restarts showing us right now. Now, let's check over here real quick. This is on the Etheria official subreddit. We're always looking at revenue reports, right? And I have a lot to say about this revenue report. We actually have two of them to go over. Now, this is going to be the September revenue report for Etheria restart. On the plus side, it's only dropped 35% this time, okay? It's only dropped 35%. Didn't do another, 43%. In August, I think it went from, 3 mil to 1.7, and now it's down to 1.1 mil for global. And this is global only. We also do have a little bit of input we'll check on in a second for the other one. But this alone, it's still a downward trend. This is still with the Yelly skin coming out. This is still with packs refreshing, new stuff to buy. As far as they put stuff in there that you can give them money for. I'm not saying it's actually worth buying, but there's stuff in the game that you can spend money for. And still a downward trend. It's still a downward trend, and I'm going to try to, the downfall needs to be studied. This needs to be studied for sure. But like this guy says, the shops just kind of suck in this game. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, okay? It's just not what we do on this channel. But this is a downward trend. But however, this one here, we have all of it. Global, CN in Japan. I thought this game came out in Korea too, but apparently not. So with all of them combined, and remember that CN and JP, it didn't have like the full month of September. I think it actually launched at the end of September. So this is pretty good. This is a pretty good little thing for us to see here. It's also kind of a little, not the greatest thing, but it's a lot better. So CN is almost doubling the money that global is right now. JP got on there with 500K. So JP is about a little under half of global, and China's about double global right now. But remind yourselves, this is only for I don't even know if the game was out for a full week. A full week out in these regions. I think it launched September 25th or 24th. Might even been 27th or something. So they didn't have that much time. And I don't know if these regions also have, a PC client or whatever, but I've always been opposed to, for the vast majority, we'll talk about it here, that PC, it's going down. The mobile spends are going down, and they're all going into the PC client. You could make that argument for literally every gacha game that has a PC client. So if you're looking at Tower Sense or whatever, I understand that it's not the entire story. However, it's partly the entire story if you're comparing it to other games that also have a PC client, because you want to see what the trends are. If all gacha games are just going down, they're going to go down, up and down the same. Now, it is a little bit different here though, because the player base, in my opinion, of Etheria has incredibly waned down to almost nothing in global, which in my past experience with other games like War of the Visions, sometimes Brave Exvius, as the player base got lower and lower and lower, people who do spend, money, not just I buy one pack every once in a while, people who spend thousands and thousands and thousands, there's no reasons for those people to not get 10% off. Outside of the laziness or not knowing that the client exists, or a way to get that 10% off. Like Amazon coins was a big one for War of the Visions, was a big one for FFBE. A lot of the times you get 10, 15% off. You just bought Amazon coins and went through their app. You had to download their Amazon store and do all that. I think that entire system's gone now, but you'd be able to do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if global actually wasn't double this at this point in time, right? Half and half. I wouldn't be surprised that. Is it still good? No, because we're still trending downwards, period, right? Because it would have been true beforehand that when we're at 1.7 mil, those same people were still spending on the PC client as well, but we're also still trending downwards now. So more and more players just in period are quitting, and players who want to put money in the game are also not spending. So regardless of how you look at it, it's probably still going to be about a 35% downward trend. Now, the other thing I want to look at when it comes to this, when the game did officially launch in global, we got the notif up here. Apparently we can't fix that. I noticed this. I noticed that as soon as global launch came out, and I'm pretty sure they have separate servers. If you click in areas, these all used to be like green, right? And now, no matter what time of day you get on, they were all red and they were maxed out. Now, I don't want to call some chicanery about here, but I'm not sure, boss, if this should be 100% trusted. I've played this game on and off since day one. I've logged in every single time, and I can count on one hand how many times I've seen any of these like red. Like one time. Now they're just all gigamaxed full, which I have a hard time believing. I have a hard time believing that they're all just full. All right, take that for what you want. I have a hard time believing that. You want to talk about it down below in the comment sections? I'm not saying they're making them look full on purpose and they're not actually full. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's a little weird, okay? I'm just saying it's a little bit weird that they keep launching all these servers. They're going to have servers for the other version, I think. And then all of a sudden, every server's full on day one. Okay, sure. Now, when it comes to what is the major thing that makes everyone quit this game, it is going to be the thing that I am going to tell you that I've probably decided to quit this game over in the next day or so. All right. People quit this game for all the reasons we talked about before, with the everything but the pool economy, basically, right? Lattices, nothing to buy in the shop, blah, 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 blah. But the number one thing that makes everyone quit this blasted game is the shell system. It is what makes everyone quit it. And I'm going to tell you why exactly now. A gacha game is a game that people like to play, and it's a genre where people like to interact with the characters and see them grow over time. Some sort of progression, whether it's a daily progression, a weekly progression, I got a new piece of gear progression. They want to progress in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not the only one. I know it, but my luck on getting shells to just drop is abysmal. All I do is log in, log out, turn the shells back on, and farm some more. And I do not ever get anything. The only shell that I've been farming, I have been farming Codex of Magic. I've been farming this guy for like a month and a half now. I'm telling you. And this is the first one I've got, Swift. This is what holds everyone back from trying to progress in PvP. Ultimately, at the end of the day. If you don't have a Swift Raid / Swift Rush shell that can roll Swift, a lot of the times, no matter what team comp you're running, even if you're like 0 speed tank down, you need to have some sort of good triple affix shells rolling around on your account. And if you cannot get access to those, you might as well not be playing PvP. You might as well not. And this also holds true for the breakpoint where people complain, I cannot beat Inferno XYZ. I can't beat Inferno Doki. I can't beat, Inferno Terramaton. I can't beat Inferno Aurora. I can't beat Inferno whatever. People get locked there because up until that time, that progression, I wish we had what levels everything unlocked here. As far as like when does normal and hard and stuff unlock. A lot of the time what happens is very early on, you're able to just kind of play the game, right? Certain things will unlock. You'll get Doki Doki unlocked, you'll get Terramaton unlocked, you'll get, Jacques, Shadowrun, or Apate, right? Normal version, hard version. These will all unlock. You'll just kind of be going around, you'll be leveling your characters, you kind of get whatever random garbage gear that drops and it's just fine. All right, you leveled up a little bit, +5, +6, and you can still kind of progress. You can still kind of feel like you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then what the game requires you to do at one point, especially it's like right after Nico Nana unlocks. And we're talking about like progression. Nico Nana Nightmare unlocks. And the game requires you to go, hey, this is a fucking big deal right here. This White Fang, this Artisan, these guys are crazy. Why can't you beat harder difficulty stuff? Why are you stuck on Nightmare Terramaton? Why are you stuck on Hell 1, Hell 2 in a lot of situations, a lot of ways? The game literally wants you to go farm up a White Fang for your DPS and like 2 Artisans or something. And they want you to have the right matrices on them so you can be faster, you can live a little bit longer on your supports and stuff, you can do stuff. This is the progression from like Hell 1, 2 up to Inferno. The game wants you to do that. It is the biggest spike in power there. And all of a sudden, like I said, you just been kind of doing whatever. My gear's kind of upgrading. It's kind of cool. I got some yellows. I got some, some pinks or whatever. And then you get this and the game's like, no, fam, no, you have to go farm now. You have to go farm now, which is fine. But here's where the game falls apart. Is the game says, hey, you got to go farm now. And then there is literally nothing that anyone can do to combat the RNG of the shell system. Now, it's a lot less RNG when you're not getting Inferno shells that have triple affixes, but you have the affix system where like, yeah, maybe they need Swift Rush, Time Weave, and maybe they spent 1,000 energy, right? Which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but as someone who's newer to the game, who has been kind of on easy streak, they will hit that ceiling and be like, all right, well, I just got to power through it. I'm gonna farm Artisans. They're cool with it. I'm gonna farm White Fangs. I'm gonna farm Artisans. And they spend 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 stamina. And they get 0 to 1. And they're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And then you're like, hold up, fam. They look up a guy like, what should I be doing with my Artisans? What should I be doing? They're like, oh, I got to reroll the substat stuff. I got to reroll these. And they're like, I'll do that for the one that I got. It's cool. I got to farm stuff anyway. I need more Artisans. So they're farming. And what happens is the time they spend in the game versus the progression that they get that's actually required of them to continue to progress in the game splits. And there is all of a sudden no reward and no progression for infinity time spent in the game. And that happens 2 steps. It happens minorly at this spot right here, the Nightmare in Hell of the shell farms, where you initially get the shells and you want to work on them and get the abilities. And then it happens one more big, so you lose a lot of people there, but then it happens again. And this is where all of your more veteran players quit the game. Even those with like sunk cost fallacy, I put a bunch of time into the game, I put a bunch of money in the game. Even then it'll happen here, because for me, it's like, bro, I have spent months. There was a Reddit post actually the other day that I thought was hilarious, where someone was farming, I think they've been farming Shadow Flame Hoyon. They were farming like some sort of DPS revelation, right? I think they were farming like Kenai something Fury Edge. And they were like, it took me 96 days, guys. I finally got it. And everyone's like, how did you not quit the game? Right? How did you not quit the game there? Like, I get that the dude was looking for a certain thing, but he's also like not looking for anything crazy. He's just looking for the base version of the item. And when you get into even more than that, when you get into, I want to be doing PvP, I want to be doing these different things. I want an Amber. I want some revelations that are rolled differently. Maybe I'll get a Jackal Guard. Maybe I want to farm up some of the Codex of Magics out here, right? Maybe some lighthouses. And it's like, I need to get the extra stats, especially the ones that have Swift Smite, Swift Raid as the 3rd affix. I need this because I need the extra 18 to 19 speed on my more speedy characters. Otherwise, I will auto lose against a lot of team setups that just have this kind of stuff. But then you run into some dude who's like, yeah, well, you can't outspeed me and I have really high effectiveness, and I will just Codex of Magic you, or I will just Jackal Guard you, and I will always be faster. You cannot just run a 0 speed. I'm just going to stand here and let your entire team do whatever it is you want to do to me. Because remember, these people aren't going to have the triple affixes lighthouses. They're not going to have all this other stuff to combat against speed people either. So you get into this place where the game now requires you, hey, if you want to do PvP up until a certain caliber, you're missing some free stats that are very, very important. You're missing some stats that are very, very important in the RTA pick and ban phase, or even just in doing, you know, PvP arena that's AI, whether it's Guild War or if it's just like normal ETH arena. All right. Oh, you're never outspeeding someone with Swiss Might. Swiss Might on like a fast character with like 128, 129 base speed, that's like 18 to 19 extra speed. Right? That's like another piece of gear that rolled speed sub the entire way up, and it started with 4 substats. It's worth a perfect piece of gear. That's how powerful it is, right? And you just cannot beat that. You have to have it. Someone can have worse gear quality than you. So if they have the equivalent or maybe slightly worse, maybe you're 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, and they're 12, 12, 12, 9, 9, 9. Guess who's faster? The dude with the Swift Smite / Swift Raid Matrix. Guess who goes first? Guess who shits on you? And people want to be able to compete in the PvP game, but they can't because they're spending time grinding and getting absolutely nothing. That's going to be the ultimate thing here for people quitting this game. Is just not that, but just like not getting the drops. It's absolutely wild that it's a possibility that in a progression-based system, that it's a possibility someone even has to wait 90 days to get 1 drop so they can progress in the game more. So that's going to be my take on Etheria real quick. I'm still kind of playing the game. If I do quit, I'll let you know, and I'll have an entire breakdown video. That video will be called Etheria Needs to Be Studied, and it'll be a good time out there. Until then, God bless, take care. Make sure you like the video, thumbs up and stuff. Do it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.